These are the assembly instructions for my hinged soccer ball. The top half and the bottom half of the soccer ball are identical and they are assembled the exact same way. So for the white pieces, I'm going to separate them into two piles, one pile for the top and one pile for the bottom. So I have these two pieces, one for the top, one for the bottom. Then this piece, they're identical except for the two holes in this piece. So this is the top, this is the bottom. I've got 5 of these pieces that look like little hats. So separating 5 for one, 5 for the other. These 5 pieces with the little circles on them. And then I have 5 of these little join pieces for the top and 5 of these little join pieces for the bottom. And then I have my hinge piece. So I'm starting with the bottom of my soccer ball. I have this piece and these little triangles come out. Sometimes you just have to pull them away. And then I'm folding down on the 6 score lines in the center. And then I'm folding down on the tabs that are on the end of each hexagon. So that's the bottom of my soccer ball. So for the smaller soccer ball, I've cut the black pentagons out of vinyl and I'm just applying them to that bottom. Then I have 5 of these pieces. I'm just folding down on the score lines around the pentagon shape for all 5 of them. And then I'm going to apply my vinyl in the center of each one of these shapes. I'm trying to center it as best I can between the score lines on my shape. So one of them has 2 holes cut out of it. You just want to ignore that one for now. Don't use that one yet. So now that I've put all my black vinyl pieces on, I'm going to take my 5 little join pieces. So they each have a score line in the center. I'm just folding on that score line. And I'm folding on that score line for all 5 of them. And then I'm going to take my bottom piece, looks a little like a flower. I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to take one of my little join pieces and I'm putting glue from the score line to the edge on 1/2. So where this little slim V is, I'm just going to insert this right along the edge so it fits from the very bottom of that V right up to where my hexagon changes direction. So I'm just gluing that in like so. And I'm going to do that with all 5 join pieces. The score line on my join piece is right up against the cut line of that V. And then I'm going to put glue on the other side of the join piece. So from the score line to the cut edge. I'm placing the cut edge of this hexagon against the cut edge of its neighbor. And I'm just pushing down on my join piece, making sure that everything is nice and even, like so. And I'm going to work my way around the shape, doing the exact same thing, putting glue on the other side of my join piece, and then joining up my hexagons, like so. This is the very bottom of my soccer ball. Next, I'm going to take one of those pentagon pieces with the 2 little circles at the bottom. So those 2 little circles are inserted towards the bottom of my ball. So I'm putting glue all over those 2 tabs, the ones with the 2 little circles on them. Joining my tabs at the score line. I want the cut edge of that large V right up against the score line that's on this piece. And then I'm going to move to the one next door. I'm putting glue on another one of those pieces with the drawn circles. And then keeping in mind that this is the bottom, I'm putting one right next to the one that I've just glued in. So you've got that large V. You're just gluing your pentagon piece to the large V. If you're having problems orienting yourself, because once you start gluing it together, it all starts looking the same, you can put a little dot on the bottom, like so. All the pieces that I'm gluing in are all around that bottom piece. So next I'm going to take one of the pieces that look like a hat, and I'm just folding down on the 2 score lines on either side. These are the 2 pieces I've just glued in. I'm putting glue along this tab and glue along that tab. And then I'm putting glue on that rectangular tab. And then I'm going to take my little piece that looks like a hat and I'm sliding it in so that the cut edge of this piece is right up against the score line. And then I'm doing that on the other side as well. So I'm just sliding that piece in place and gluing it to those tabs. And then I'm going to put glue on the tabs that are on my hat piece, and then just glue those tabs down in behind. So I'm just putting glue on this tab. So I've got those 2 tabs at the top, and I'm just gluing those down. And so I'm going to rotate again, and I've got that large V. Keep in mind, this is the center, this is the bottom. So I've got that large V. So I'm putting glue on those 2 tabs that have the circles on them. And then I'm just moving to that next large V. So I'm gluing the 2 tabs with the circles on them in place. Then I'm putting glue on the tab that's on the left and the tab that's on the other side of it. And I'm putting glue on that rectangular piece as well. Grabbing one of my hat pieces, folding down on the score lines, that rectangular piece right up against the score line. I'm going to tuck the tab underneath. I want the score line to be right at the cut line of the previous piece. And I'm going to do that on the other side as well. And then I'm putting glue on the 2 tabs of my little hat piece. So now I'm rotating my piece again. So I'm just continuing along doing the same thing, putting glue on the tabs with the pen marks on them. So I'm rotating to the next large V and just gluing that in. And then I'm putting glue all over those tabs that are on the left hand side of the one that I just glued in. And then I'm taking my little hat piece, I'm gluing it to the rectangular tab at the bottom. So I want that cut line to be right against the score line and follow it completely. Tucking that top tab and gluing down this side tab. Then I'm tucking this tab and gluing this side to the tab that's underneath it. And then I'm going to put glue on that top tab, the one on the right, and the one on the left. So I only have one of my pentagon pieces left now for the bottom. Gets glued in here. So I'm putting glue on those 3 tabs, gluing my hat piece to the rectangular piece that's at the bottom. I want the cut line right against the score line, and I'm tucking that tab in. And now that it's nicely in position, I'm pressing down on the glue. Do that on the right side as well. And then I'm going to put glue on both those top tabs that are tucked in behind and just glue them in. And now I'm left with just one hat piece. So I'm putting glue on those 3 tabs. If you notice, that center is at the bottom still. I'm gluing the bottom to the rectangular tab, tucking my tab in, and I'm just gluing my left hand side and then tucking my tab in and gluing my right hand side. So this is the rim piece, but before I put it on, I want to decorate the interior, because once you put this on, it's just a little bit harder to decorate. I have my pentagon shape for the center, and then I have 5 full octagons that go on the next level, and then I'm gluing down 5 pentagons for the next level. So for the next level, I have a larger piece that fits in. It's 3/4 of that hexagon shape, and there's a smaller piece like so. So I'm just going to continue gluing those pieces in. So now I have the top piece. I'm just folding down on all the score lines for the tabs all the way around the perimeter. If you look at the top rim, you have a large partial hexagon, and then you have a smaller partial hexagon. So you're going to start with a larger one, and you're going to start with one of the tabs that's rectangular in shape. This one has little wedges cut out of it, but this one is a rectangle. So I'm going to put glue all over the rectangular shaped one, and I'm going to take that larger partial hexagon, and I'm gluing my rectangle to the score line on the top of my rectangle is right against the cut edge of my soccer ball, or half soccer ball. And then I have tabs all the way around. So this wedge tab matches the shape of the panel that's next to it. So I'm just going to glue it in, and I'm going to work my way around the shape, just gluing in all those tabs. So now that that's glued in, I'm going to assemble the second half, so the top half, the exact same way. The only difference is the vinyl for the top piece has 2 holes in it. I'm just making sure to apply my vinyl piece so that the cutouts match up. So now that I've completed both halves, I'm going to grab some of this cord that I have. I'm going to cut off about 10 inches of it, and I'm going to put one end through one of the holes and then the other end through the other hole. I'm going to pull them through and make a knot at the end. And then I have my hinge piece. It has a score line in the center. I'm just folding it in half. I want this to be the front. I have a panel that's a small portion of the hexagon and I want to match it up. I don't want to match it up with another small. I want to make sure it matches up with a larger one like so. And that continues the pattern. I'm putting glue on half my hinge piece, so from the score line to the edge. I'm just gluing it down so that the score line is right on the edge of my box. The points of my hinge piece are right at the points of my hexagon panel. And then I'm going to put glue on the other half. I have the large hexagon matched up with the smaller one on top. And I'm joining the top and the bottom right at that hinge. So next I have these little Velcro dots. So I've taken both sides of my Velcro dots and I am putting them together. I'm going to remove the backing on one of them and I'm sticking it right at the front. I'm trying to center it as best I can. And then I'm going to remove the backing on the other side and close my box. And then I'm going in there with my Cricut tool, separating the Velcro. And then I'm just going to push down on both sides to make sure they adhere properly. But if you put something heavy enough inside, you may want to add a few more pieces of Velcro. So now I've decided to decorate my project with bows. I have a little star with numbers around the perimeter, and I have some ribbon. I have 3 yards. This is just some glitter ribbon from the dollar store. And then I have some Scotch tape, a stapler, and some red line tape, or double-sided tape would work as well. I'm going to hold my star with the 1 at the top, and then I'm inserting my ribbon. I have the pretty side of the tail away from me, and then I'm wrapping my ribbon from the left to the right around the point of my star with the number 1 below it. Then I'm going to take a small amount of tape and just tape my tail to my star. So next I'm going to rotate my star so that the number 2 is at the top, and then I'm wrapping from left to right around the 2. And then I'm rotating so that the 3 is at the top, and I'm wrapping my ribbon once again from left to right. And I'm just going to continue that process until I reach number 8. So this is what it should look like from the underside. So I've completed 1 round. I want to complete 3 rounds. So I'm doing the same thing for all 8 points 3 times. I'm turning my star over. I've got the end of my ribbon folded over the center of my star. So I'm just going to staple the center of my star. Also staple it in the opposite direction to make it nice and secure, so it forms like a cross. So I'm removing the tape on that other end of my tail. I'm putting some double-sided tape at the end of that tail, and then I'm removing the ribbon from each point of my star. It doesn't have to be in any particular order. Then I'm going to take the liner off my red line tape, and then I'm just looping it over and adhering it to the center like so. And then I'm going to fluff up my ribbon. I'm just going around separating all 3 layers like so, and then I'm just fluffing it up. This bow was made the same way as these 2. The only difference was the size of the template. So the larger your ribbon, the larger you want to make your template, and it's really up to you how big and how poofy you want it. The larger the width of your ribbon, the larger your template should be. So I've just created a few